Imagine this. An outlaw, like a really seasoned bank and train robber, somehow charms an entire nation, even from behind bars. How does that even happen?
It's quite a story.
Yeah, today we're doing a deep dive into Ezra Allen Miner, much better known as Bill Miner, the gentleman bandit. We're looking at his pretty wild, sometimes funny adventures up here in Canada, early 20th century.
Right. And what's fascinating looking at the, historical accounts, the old newspaper reports, even later analyses, is how this American guy, already in his late 50s, early 60s, with a long rap sheet from the U.S.
30 years in San Quentin, wasn't
Remember
it?
30 years, yeah.
Yeah.
How he manages to become this almost folk hero figure north of the border. It's really about how crime, charm, and public opinion collided.
Okay, so let's get into it. Bill Miner shows up in British Columbia, early 1900s, and like you said, he's not young. Decades of outlaw experience in the States.
Right, a real relic of the Old West, you could say.
But he comes across the border quiet, takes the name George Edwards, just seems like this mild-mannered older guy.
Exactly. Totally hiding this cunning mind. He was already known down south as the gentleman bandit. Apparently quite polite during his robberies.
I life.
Yeah, there's even that sort, maybe legendary, maybe true, that he coined the phrase, hands up, said quite courteously, supposedly.
Huh. So he gets out of prison, the world's changed, stagecoaches are out.
Trains are in. And for Miner, the Canadian Pacific Railway, the CPR, looked like, well, the perfect target.
Ah, the CPR. Big, powerful, connected the whole country, but also maybe not universally loved back then, seen as a bit of a monopoly.
Precisely. Seen by some as powerful, maybe even exploitative. So robbing the CPR, Miner might have seen that differently than robbing, say, ordinary folks.
Makes sense. So he doesn't wait long.
No, he teams up with a couple guys, Jake Cowboy Terry and Shorty Dunn. They plan meticulously. And on September 10th, 1904, near Mission Junction, BC.
They hit the CPR's Transcontinental Express.
And it's not just a train robbery, it's Canada's first, ever. Puts him on the map immediately.
And was it polite, like his reputation suggested?
Apparently so. Reports say they were calm, uncoupled the express car, didn't harm anyone, just took the loot estimates are around $7,000 in gold and cash, which was a fortune then, and poof, vanished.
Wow. So, polite robbery, first in Canada, big haul. That must have made headlines.
Absolutely. It sort of set the stage for his legend right away. The gentleman bandit arrives in style.
Okay, so after that big score, what happens? Does he lay low?
For a couple of years, yeah. Living as George Edwards, up near Princeton, BC. Apparently quite respected in the community. Quiet life.
You'd think maybe he'd just retire, right? He's getting on in years, made a good score.
You would think. But it seems the thrill, the allure of another big job was too strong. He couldn't resist.
Uh-oh. So another attempt.
Yes, May 1906, near a place called Ducks that's east of Kamloops. And this one didn't go quite so smoothly.
Didn't go smoothly. How bad are we talking?
We're talking comical levels of bad. Real bungled job. They messed up fundamentally.
What'd they do?
They targeted the wrong train car. Instead of the express car with the money, they got into one with basically nothing.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously. The grand total haul was, wait for it, $15.
$15.
$15 in a bottle of liver pills.
Liver pills. Oh, that's almost sad. And embarrassing.
Definitely embarrassing. But even though the loot was pathetic, the attempt itself triggered this massive manhunt. Biggest in BC history up to that point. The gray fox, as they called him, was now being hunted intensely.
So they finally caught him this time.
They did. Cornered him near Douglas Lake after a big chase. He was tired, aging, and eventually just surrendered after a short standoff. Kind of an anticlimactic end to his robbing career, you'd think.
Right. Caught red-handed after a famously botched job. You'd expect people to just see him as a failed criminal, maybe mock him a bit.
But that's not what happened, which is the really interesting part. His trial in Kamloops, it became a sensation.
Why? What was the angle?
People were fascinated by him. Partly it was his manners, again, still polite, still had that sort of old-world charm even in court. The whole gentleman bandit thing really stuck.
Okay, charm helps. But there had to be more, right? Just for robbing a train.
There was. The target. Remember, he robbed the CPR.
Ah, the unpopular corporation.
Exactly. A lot of ordinary folks didn't shed any tears for the CPR being robbed. They kind of saw Miner as, well, maybe not a hero, but certainly not a villain attacking them. He was hitting the big guy.
So they were actually cheering for him.
Reports say crowds gathered outside the courthouse in Kamloops, cheering him on. admiring his guts, his audacity. It was quite something.
Wild. So despite the cheering, he was still convicted.
Oh, yeah. The law is the law.
Yeah.
He got 25 years in the New Westminster Penitentiary. Seemed like, okay, this is finally the end for Bill Miner. He'd die in prison.
But there's always a but with him, isn't there?
Always. Just over a year into his sentence, August 1907. Miner, now well into his 60s, escapes.
Escapes.
Details are a bit sketchy, but he and several other inmates just sort of disappeared from a work crew outside the prison walls, vanished into the woods.
No way. At his age.
Yep. It was a huge embarrassment for the prison authorities, obviously, but the public,
They must have loved it.
they were delighted. It was the perfect final act for the Gentleman Bandit's Canadian story. The legend was complete.
And he was just gone, never seen in Canada again.
Never seen in Canada again. He slipped back over the border into the U.S., leaving this incredible legend behind him.
So thinking about that legacy, it's really mixed, isn't it? Daring success, comical failure, charm, escape.
It really is. What makes him so interesting is how his personality, combined with who he targeted, that unpopular CPR, turned him from just a criminal into this folk figure. He's remembered not just for the crimes, but for the style and the context.
Yeah, the story of Bill Miner, it really shows you how history isn't always black and white. Criminal, folk hero. Sometimes it depends on charisma, who you target, and maybe, yeah, even a bottle of liver pills. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What makes a legend like that stick? And what does the kind of legend we remember say about us?